Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today we will discuss a topic of sociolinguistics, that is language and ethnicity. As far as language is concerned, all of us we know very well that language is a tool of communication. And definitely in every society we speak language that is called sociolinguistics. So ethnicity, defining ethnicity or ethnic group, it means that a community, a population of people living somewhere. It can be a larger group, it can be a smaller group, but the condition is that who have some cultural background, common cultural background. Like you can say, Saraiki ethnic group, they have their own culture. Punjabi ethnic group, they have their own culture. Sindhi, they have their own. Urdu speakers, they have their own. I'm talking about the native Urdu speakers. So this is called an ethnic group. So all of us we speak a mother tongue. In simple words, I'm defining this ethnicity or ethnic group. So whatever the mother tongue we are speaking, that is our ethnic identity. That is our identity actually. Language is our social identity. Language and culture and our race, some cultural background also. So these are our, you can say, parts of our identity. Languages also. So if you belong to Pashto family, it means that you belong to Pashto ethnic group. It is used in positive sense also, and it has caused some negativity also. Ethnic group is good when we want to preserve our culture. Like if we want to preserve our culture, we have seen that there are many ethnic groups who are very much attached to their culture, and they want to preserve it, they want to safeguard it so that it may not be destroyed. They want to safeguard their language. And in this you can sometimes we watch some videos or some TV programs from northern areas of Pakistan, Chitral. So still the girls, they use some heavy embroidery and some sort of caps, and they made it by their own hands. Very difficult to make it. Although the world has changed, the modernized people, they are changing with the passage of time, but they are very much careful to preserve their culture. So to preserve your culture, or to safeguard your culture, or to love your culture, it's never negative. But when the same ethnic group who is having some who is too much attached with the cultural group, and it starts some, uh, you can say, some personal grudges with some other group, or they start criticizing the other group, or they start thinking that their cultural group is superior to another cultural group, then the conflicts they start within the ethnic group. So there are two aspects of the ethnicity. Ethnic means, ethnic group means a community which shares some common culture or common language, or there may be variation about the language, about dialects, about others, but overall we are speaking. But it can be, if it is used for in a positive sense, then it is good for the society. But when it is used in the sense of superiority, then it creates a lot of chaos in the society. So people live in groups, and they share some common traits and common traditions. They form parts of the community, uh, that is called ethnic or ethnicity or ethnic group. When the people they are living together and they have some common language, as I told you, if you belong to Saraiki community, then you are Saraiki ethnic group. If you belong to Punjabi, then you are Punjabi ethnic group, and Pashto ethnic group, English ethnic group, or Italian ethnic group. So every individual belongs to some community. Every individual is part of a community. Every individual is part of an ethnic group, because every individual is inherits some sort of culture, inherits a language. So the second one is, um, culture, language, and race. Yes, these are the three characteristics and identity. Then we have, um, like how do we define ethnic groups? There are different types to define ethnic group. We can define an ethnic group on the basis of religion also. We can define ethnic group on the basis of culture, on the basis of language, on the basis of uh, type of educational syllabus which they study, the type of their cultural stories, type of their folk songs, type of their eating habits. I personally think that if you can say that one typical kind of food which is very much liked by in one community, it may not be liked by others. Like when we see some Chinese eating something, they eat everything whatever comes before them. Like they are eating insects, they are eating snakes, they are eating everything that comes appears before them. So at the, they are also human being, but we can't even think about to eat it. So even eating habits, they define ethnicity. So when you people are living in one community and you have some specific cultural values which are only limited to your community, then it becomes your ethnic group or ethnic your identity. Now we discuss because we are discussing language and ethnicity, so let's define that how language is important to define an ethnic group, because our focus is on language when we talk about sociolinguistics. So language defines an ethnic group, um, like as I told you earlier, when we have like Sindhi speakers and we have Punjabi speakers, so they have these differences between the communities. Differences not means in negative sense, but you can say differentiation instead of using the word differences. Differentiation between two communities like say Sindhi and Punjabi. So their defining line is the language which they are speaking. One language is spoken in one area and the other language is spoken in another area. Then within the languages, within the languages, you can say if some people they are migrated from, I have many personal friends who are from Pashto families and they migrated from KPK to Punjab years ago, like decades ago, 50 years or 60 years ago. Now they settled here, they and their kids, they speak very fluent Saraiki, Punjabi, Urdu. No one can recognize them that they belong to they are some Pashto families or they have migrated, because now with the passage of time their identity is shifting, their linguistic identity is shifting, and it is a fact that language shifts within a society. If we migrate to another area after 100 years, the ethnicity is completely changed. Now imagine if a family is migrated from, let's say, from Punjab to KPK, and after 100 years, the kids and the family is totally converted to Pashto speaking family. Although their caste will remain the same, their origin will remain the same about Punjabi culture, but they will be very fluent in Pashto. It may be possible that they may, on the third generation, they will forget their own language. But if they stay there, even then there will be a differentiation. The differentiation would be based on that those who are by birth Pashto speakers and those who are not by birth Pashto speakers, like Punjabi family which has moved to some KPK area, Peshawar or Mardan or Swabi. They lived there for many decades, many years, and after that they start speaking this Pashto language. Even then, their identity will not be acceptable for them, although they will be speaking good. In the same way, sorry, if in the same way some Pashto families move here in Punjab, or some Balochi family they move here, those who speak typical Balochi language which is spoken in Balochistan. So what would happen? Their language identity would definitely be changed, but their cultural identity would never be changed, and there will be a differentiation will remain there. It will remain intact for a lot of time to come. But with the passage of time, language may be changed and language may be shifted, but the cultural background can never be shifted. It is very difficult to shift a cultural background because you have your uh, like uh, inheritance, like your ancestors, so you move with them. So this is all about language, which defines your ethnic group. Because your language, your mother tongue, by birth language, it defines uh, a clear, or you can say a categorical ethnic group. Then we talk about dialect. So within the language we have different dialects. Everyone knows about dialects, that different varieties of the same language. For example, the Punjabi spoken in Lahore is different, not different, but their accent is different. Then the Punjabi spoken in Narowal and Sialkot, it is different. Then Punjabi spoken in this area, in Bahawalpur, Multan, it is different. Then the Punjabi spoken in Rawalpindi area, it is different. Although all of them, they belong to one ethnic group, which is Punjabi ethnic group, but still there are variations. This, we can easily understand each other, that who belongs to which area. Some typical words and some typical accents, some typical accent, as well as some typical pronunciation of the words, it defines their ethnicity, that on which area they belong. So on a larger scale, we will talk about all the Punjabi speakers living in Punjab or Sindh and KPK, wherever they are living, they form Punjabi ethnic group. But when we want to define within the ethnicity on the basis of the dialect within one language, then we will differentiate between Lahori accent and Faisalabad accent and Gujranwala accent, and then Bahawalpur accent and Rahim Yar Khan accent. So the subgroups will be divided according to it. So this is called dialect. This is how actually dialect defines ethnic group. Then this one is language ethnicity sensitive issue, as I told you in the beginning, because when we are too much attached with our language and culture, and we start thinking that, if I start thinking that my language and my culture is superior, and the one who is living with me, who belongs to some other language or other culture, his culture and language is inferior, it will create a conflict within the society. It will create a mayhem in the society. A mayhem means chaos in the society. So disturbance or chaos or a mayhem, it will be created. And the sense it is, when we are too much attached with our culture and language, and we start believing that my culture and my language is superior to the other one, and the other one definitely will start, the other community will start thinking itself, considering itself inferior, and ultimately the problems would be there. So it's a sensitive issue. uh, you can say the best example is a very unfortunate incident in the history of Pakistan, 1971, the fall of Dhaka, when East Pakistan, it was separated from us. Uh, so it was also mm, language ethnicity was also there. When the Bengali leader Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, he presented his 6-point agenda, it was written there in 6-point agenda that Bengali should be considered, should be formally considered, included in the constitution of Pakistan as national language, and it was accepted by the government, the then government of Pakistan. But later on, the history is very bitter, because it was separated. So it was again some sort of language ethnicity was also there. Ethnic, then national loyalties are often bitter and violent. Definitely, there are many incidents in the history which has been created uh, just because of too much influence to one's language ethnicity. Uh, Conflicts, they are there on the basis of differentiation between cultures, and differences between languages, sometimes religious point of views, sometimes some other ideologies. So the differences occur on the language basis. There are many differences which cause lot of problems. In Pakistan, we are still suffering from it, and the only solution to it is to provide education, which we are not providing accurately. And then yes, state loyalty and people of linguistic group cause serious problems for the government and the state. Definitely, when some language one ethnic group it starts creating disturbance, it definitely creates problems for the whole of the state, for whole of the country, for whole of the nation, and for all the people living in that area. So this is all about language and ethnicity, and the main issue is how can we avoid such type of problems which are created by language ethnicity. So such issues can be avoided, like first of all, every language must be given priority. First of all, what I personally believe, that in syllabus when we teach at school level, at that time some sort of uniform syllabus should be implemented, where the culture and the language of every society and community must be prioritized. If we develop a culture syllabus in Pakistan, and our complete focus is on some I don't want to take any ethnic group here, but just I say that the syllabus designers, if they are focusing on the stories of one ethnic group only, then definitely there will remain a trouble, because from the childhood the students, they will, the learners, the children who go to school, they will start thinking that there is a difference between like one student is going to school and he will start thinking that there is difference between me and my fellow, because the culture of his fellow is over exaggerated and extensively presented in the syllabus. So to avoid it, it is very much suitable for the society, for the state, for the government, that portions and culture, uh, every portion should be, syllabus portion should be given to every ethnic group, and their cultural values should be represented there, and then their heroes should be represented there, their poets should be represented there, so that each and everyone will, and a sense of equality will come into the society, and this will reduce the chances of disturbance caused by language ethnicity. This is one of the solutions. And secondly, definitely people should be sensible, and they should not think themselves superior and must not think others inferior. And definitely nowadays media can play a very important role. Through social media, a good role can be played. Then if any such material is like that creates differences between ethnic groups on the basis of language, if such material is available on social media or in some syllabus books, it should be completely rejected, it should be wiped out, and some equal kind of syllabus should be into some equal kind of thinking should be introduced for all the ethnic groups, so that these conflicts may be avoided. Thank you.